This was a really fun game if you missed it, if you weren't able to catch it. Unfortunately, the Pelicans win streak that we had going 2 games in a row is now 0. Pelicans lose to the San Antonio Spurs, but overall it was a good game, and the Spurs are a really good team. So it was a tough matchup coming into this game already with Victor Wembanyama playing how he's playing. And I thought the Pelicans actually did a really good job on him. I thought they did also in their first matchup against them. But unfortunately, now we're 0-2 to the Spurs. We have the same injury report for the Pelicans. Nobody knew, but it's still Zion out with a hamstring, Jordan Poole with a calf strain, Yves Missi out with illness, and obviously DeJounte Murray with his Achilles still recovering from that. So the Pelicans a little bit shorthanded coming in this game, but that didn't stop them last game from getting the win against the Dallas Mavericks. This time in San Antonio on their home court. And the Pelicans put up a fight. It was a really back and forth game. And I mean, like, you know, the Spurs at one point went on a 15-0 run. Pelicans fought back, brought it within 2 or 3 points. And there were a couple really great standout performances on the Pelicans side. Number one being Trey Murphy right there with the layup. Trey Murphy ended this game with 41 points on incredible efficiency. He shot it so well. Trey Murphy, like I said, 41 points. He ended with 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. He went 15 of 22 from the floor, which ended up being, 68.2% shooting, which was awesome. 5 of 11 from 3. He was money. He even had a buzzer beater to end the third quarter, I believe it was, from basically half court. We'll see in a second. He was really good. So this makes, 3 really solid shooting performances for Trey Murphy in the past week or so, which feels great. We kind of thought he's going to have a breakout season coming into the year. Struggled early in those first few games, but now he's really starting to, come into form for what we expect of him and what I think he expects of himself. So congrats to Trey Murphy. Good job. Another bright spot in this game was Jeremiah Fierce, the rookie. He was great, man. He ended with 18 points, I think, but really it was just he was attacking on offense and on defense. He made a couple of really good plays. He got 31 minutes in this game. He ended with 18 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. On pretty good shooting, 8 of 17, which is 47%, which you'll take that from a rookie guard who's undersized, going against Wembanyama, you know what I mean? So definitely a great game for him. He takes more mid-range jumpers than I kind of thought he would coming into the season. He's looked okay on him. I think he probably takes a little bit more than I would like because he is so good at attacking the basket, but he does need that in his arsenal to keep the defense honest. If they're always just going to crowd the paint, kind of like they do with Zion, he has that mid-range jumper to kind of lean on if he needs to. And you see that from a lot of great players. They have to develop a mid-range game because you can't always get layups and threes, even though those are obviously the most efficient shots. And then the other bright spot, which you guys know at this point I love talking about, was Derik Queen, man. I love watching Derik Queen play. He still came off the bench, man. I want him to start. So Kevon Looney got the start. He played like 16 minutes or something, and Derik Queen played much more than that. He played 25. But again, I don't see why it's not Derik Queen starting, because when he's in the game, they're so much better offensively. He had 8 assists in his 25 minutes, and some of them were just beautiful. We'll look at a couple of them. So as far as defending Wemby goes, I think the Pelicans did an okay job. He ended with 18 points, which is the same as what Jeremiah Fierce had. And for the most part, I think it was because, and this might sound counterintuitive, but they would leave him open on threes more than I think most teams do. And maybe it was honestly just defensive breakdowns and he got a lot of threes up, but I would take a Wembanyama 3 over him rolling to the paint like 9 times out of 10. So he shot 2 of 9 on his threes, which 22%, so not great. So that helped him. They keep him out of the paint, keep him on the perimeter. I think you live with that. He's just that dominant inside. It's like a Giannis. Giannis can kind of shoot threes now, but you'd rather have him shooting threes than roll into the paint. So in this fourth quarter, at this point, you can see they're down 14 points. It looks like it's getting a little bit out of hand. And I just want to emphasize again, for those of you that might be watching for the first time, the Pelicans normally struggle when they're down. Like, they almost, in the past, have seemed to give up in these kind of games where, wow, 14 points feels like an unsurmountable mountain, right? That they can't get past those big deficits. But in the last 3 or 4 games, you've really seen the Pelicans fighting in these fourth quarters, even when they're down. And a lot of times it brings them into winnable situations. So getting back to Derik Queen, like I said, he came off the bench, but he ended with 13 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 blocks. He's leading the team in assists, like coming off the bench as a big guy, and it's like who was next closest in assist? Jose Alvarado with 5 assists, also coming off the bench. And then a couple people 4 assists. Herb Jones had 4. Sadiq Bey had 4. Like, he's basically doubling your next closest guy, and he's a big guy coming off the bench. I just think he needs to play at least 30 minutes a game. Like, why can't, for example, Carlo Makovic played almost 9 minutes, not quite 9 minutes. Why can't you have Derik Queen in for those 9 minutes essentially, or even some of that? You know, give 4 to Kevon Looney and then 5 more to Derik Queen. He was so good. He was that good. So this is basically back-to-back games, I think, at this point, where Derik Queen plays almost the entire fourth quarter. And the only reason I can think Willie Green would be not starting Derik Queen or not playing him earlier in the game as much is because he wants to keep him fresh for these fourth quarters because he is so good. But he seems conditioned to me. I mean, I think he thinks he's conditioned. He had an interview after his first game where he only played 14 minutes. He's like, yeah, I could have gone 30, maybe Willie Green doesn't think he's got the stamina to play, a lot in the first half and the second half when they want him in the fourth quarter because he really makes great decisions. He's clutch. I think Derik Queen is clutch. I mean, we saw the March Madness shot. I really think he is clutch. So that's the only reason I can think of is that maybe he doesn't trust him to stay fresh long enough, but he doesn't seem like he's getting tired, at the end of the fourth quarter after playing extended minutes. So I'd like to see more Derik Queen. I think we all would. So to end this game, the Pelicans actually go on a little run, 7-0. Beautiful pass from Derik Queen. Look at that lob. Like, who else on the Pelican is throwing that pass? Who else on the Pelicans is throwing that pass? Jeremiah Fears with the drive. Little lefty scoop layup. They just attacked until the very end. And they bring it within 30 seconds left. Unfortunately, De'Aaron Fox had other ideas. It was his first game back since, I think, March or something. It's been a while. Jeremiah Fears, I appreciate him, trying to go at Wembanyama here in the last few seconds. But, yeah, that one gets erased, unfortunately. So that ends the game. The Pelicans lose by 7 to the really good Spurs, who now are 7-2, and the Pelicans are 2-7. So overall, I really liked what I saw, and you're starting to see the future of the Pelicans in specifically the 3 best players on the team today were Trey Murphy with 41 points, 9 rebounds, Jeremiah Fears with 18 points, right, and Derik Queen with 13, 5, and 8. Like a core of those 3 guys, and that's excluding everyone else on the team, is already an incredible start to something really competitive. And then if you include other guys like Herb Jones, Jose Alvarado, there's just so much talent on this team that the future looks bright, even if this season is not going to plan. So hopefully that message comes across. I'm feeling really optimistic about this team. This was a close game against a really good team with realistically 4 of the Pelicans starting 5 were out in this game. And, they're playing Micah Peavy 10 plus minutes a night. So the fact that they kept this close and kept it competitive was really encouraging, and I like to see it. And I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for all the love and support on the last video. It means the world to me. I had the goal of 45 subscribers by the end of this month, and I went from 37 subscribers before posting last video to 126 basically overnight. So I wanted to say thank you for everyone who is supporting this channel. I'll be covering every Pelicans game this season and beyond, right? I appreciate you guys so much. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed this content. Subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment down below. Thoughts on this team, feedback, what kind of content would you like to see in the future? I'm open to suggestions. So Pelicans play the Phoenix Suns 2 days from now on Monday, so I will see you guys Monday night for another video. Peace.